today we're going to be going over the best and the worst teams in 2020 by utility damage. So you can see at the top, the filter is top 50, minimum 100 maps played, and utility damage. So this is actually just the amount of damage done with grenades, incendiary grenades, molotovs, that sort of thing, every round. So the top 10 overall here is Fnatic first, not surprising. Fnatic and Astralis always get praised for the utility. Astralis primarily, during that hot run that they had in 2018, 2019. But Fnatic have always been a consistent one, primarily due to Flusher, I believe. He would normally average like 9 or 10 damage on his own, which is a huge percentage of that. They've got big alternate attack, so 2 German organizations holding strong there. Endpoint coming in at 5th, showing good prowess with the utility. Godsent as well. Godsent, I'm pretty sure that's backed by Crystals, where he does a lot of utility damage. And then we've got Dignitas, which is a bit of a surprise for me. Heroic, Gambit, and then Saw. So that's the top 10 for utility ADR in 2020. The bottom 10 here, as shown. So we've got Cloud9 on the bottom. So Cloud9, as I said, this is not the Cloud9 we know today. This is the South African lineup they had in the past, which is a bit of a surprise because I will mention this in a future video as well. In terms of flash assists, they're like at the top. So for them to be bottom by damage through the utility, maybe it shows that they prioritize flashes over the actual, offensive utility, as it were. But I suppose one of the different ones is we've got Vitality in the bottom here, FaZe are down here, Spirit, and Amiga. There's quite a few bigger names around the bottom. Triumph, obviously not a name that too many people will know of. But otherwise, you can see the number itself, we're way down, and this is a big drop off between these two. So Forza and Cloud9 solidifying their spots at the bottom. Now let's see, so this is now the top 10 by CT side damage. So Astralis once again leading the pack by a significant margin, about 10% difference there, ahead of Fnatic. Big right behind them, multi-attack. So stereotypically, you'll do a lot more damage on the CT side when it comes to utility. It's just a bit easier to get that damage going, because you have the choke points in front of you essentially, right? You've got Banana, for example, mid on Inferno as well. There's a lot of areas where you will always grenade, or you will take control of, and usually there'll be terrorists in the way and you'll do damage. Like, that's straight up what it is. So it's worth knowing basically all of the teams here are basically the same. I think Complexity is the one that just jumped in at the end. And now we look at the T side. So Forza, they stay at the bottom. Well, they stay in the bottom too. Cloud9 jump up a bit, but it's still not much of a difference. Vitality have got out of this somehow. So they were around here last time, and they've managed to get out. So they've done quite well to do that. But we do see MIBR jump back in. FaZe stay here. Cloud9, of course, as mentioned. And then the top 10 by T-side. So T-side much more difficult to get damage. As you can see, the numbers, they've decreased a lot. So it's worth considering. The damage you can do on T-side is very limited. It's mostly from when you double nade somewhere, or when you put a Molotov in somewhere to clear it, and you hope that somebody is there. So Fnatic, they still do it the most, but there's not much to talk about here really. It's the fact that we do see Astralis drop out of this top 10 entirely, which is a bit of a surprise because they were at the top for the overall one, and they were top 1 for the CT side. And then we look at the bottom 10 for the T side. So Cloud9 retain their spot at the bottom. Forza jump up a few spots, but not really enough. FaZe hold strong on this same position, and Vitality re-emerge. And North, the now defunct organization, I suppose, as they did announce today that they were shutting down operations. But all in all, this has been just a coverage of the best teams and the worst teams by utility ADR. We've got a lot more content like this coming over the next few days, so stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.